And welcome into another episode of Off Script. My name is Zak Herbstreit, and yes, I can already hear the comments. Good. But Florida State fans, spring ball is here. And with that, I want to say I'm really looking forward to the potential of what this new Florida State offense can be. But before we get into that today, if you enjoy college football, if you enjoy the channel, if you like the video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel as well. It really helps me a lot, so I appreciate you guys. But let's get into the video today. But before we get into this year's offense, let's take a look back at last year's offense and look at what they did well and also what this new offense can improve on this upcoming year. But last year's offense averaged 33 points per game, averaged 472 yards per game, so pretty solid overall. One thing I got to bring up is a little bit of an underwhelming run game from last year. I believe Tommy Castellanos led the team in rushing with 557 yards throughout the entire year, so I don't think you want your quarterback leading in rushing just longevity throughout the season because just getting battered and bruised and maybe not having depth at that position. But I think having the ability to run the ball as well and having a capable offensive line room and running back room that can get 45 yards per carry takes pressure off the quarterback and allows your receivers and skill positions to make these explosive plays downfield because the defense is worried about the run game. And speaking of receivers as well, had a loaded wide receiver room last year led by Robinson, who was the 1,000-yard receiver guy, and had Danzy, and those two combined had more than 54% of Florida State's receiving yards, so that's an incredible stat, and I'd like to see them get the ball to other people. Throughout spring, I feel like that's where young receivers kind of make a name for themselves, so it's going to be interesting to see kind of who makes a name in these upcoming practices. But I want to get into this year and talk about this year's offense. And starting off with new offensive coordinator Tim Harris Jr., who was the former receiver coach for Florida State and got promoted to offensive coordinator, replacing Gus Malzahn. And I know a lot of people out there aren't crazy about hiring within and don't think it's a good idea to hire within because there's other talent out there. But this guy has experience. He was the offensive coordinator at UCF in 2024 and at FIU in 2020. So has experience, but he won't even have his hand on the reins with calling plays in real time because Norvell kind of has, he wants to take that over as well. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of what Harris does and kind of how he molds this offense, because from this presser in the spring a couple days ago, he was saying how he's getting creative with motions and different formations and how he's trying to just confuse the defense. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of what changes. I believe Norvell and Harris are both kind of sculpted from that Malzahn offense of mine just in general. So it's going to be similar, but there's going to be some wrinkles in there. There's going to be some differences. And moving on here, I also want to talk about the quarterback position because this is kind of a hot topic in the Florida State community right now. They went to the portal and got former Auburn quarterback Ashton Daniels, dual threat guy. He has incredible escapability. If you watch that Vanderbilt-Auburn game, it was incredible to watch. And also, this kid has experience. He has developed into a pretty solid quarterback, to say the least. I feel like early on, or just in general, or just young quarterbacks, I should say, that when the pocket collapses and they do get out, they try to just get some yards out of it. He's kind of really grown into when the pocket collapses and he escapes out of it, he finds it a receiver open down the field somewhere. I feel like his escapability, his improvisation ability is really impressive, and hopefully he can showcase that at Florida State. But also, don't count out Kevin Sperry. He's a 4-star recruit. He is a little bit inexperienced, hasn't played too much, but I think he has talent. He has the ability to make it a quarterback battle, but in my opinion, I feel like if you bring in a guy of this kind of caliber, why would you not start him? I don't want to say the quarterback position is handed to him because there's going to be a little bit of a battle there throughout spring, maybe into fall. But I think if you bring him in and you're paying him XYZ amount of money, I don't know exactly how much you're paying him, but I feel like you got to play him if you're bringing in that kind of talent. But it's going to be interesting to see kind of what transpires and how it unfolds. But the big differences I'm looking forward to for this offense, I want to get into them here as well. First off, the ability to run the ball. I kind of brought it up earlier, and I know a lot of Florida State fans out there are pretty passionate about being able to run the ball, but if I'm going into spring, the one takeaway I want to hear about this, probably the biggest takeaway is, hey, that Florida State team, they can run the ball. Hey, that Florida State team, their offensive line looks pretty damn good. They're coming off the ball. They're moving the line of scrimmage. I don't know what they're possessed right now. That's what I want to hear. Something along those lines. Being able to run the ball, because I feel like the offense all starts with run the ball. If you can run the ball, then everything else kind of just folds into place. That's really kind of end-all, be-all, running the ball needs to be able to happen for Florida State football. Second thing, new schemes, schematically. I know Harris kind of brought it up. Coach Harris brought it up with saying, like, hey, we got different formations going on, different motions. I want to see them maybe get involved with the tight end a little bit, starting them outside, flexing them inside, making the defense be like, okay, well, where do we even line up if he's all the way out there and then he goes all the way to the other side of the field and then maybe even lines up next to the quarterback or something like that? Like, I want the defense confused out there. I think shaking it up a little bit, making these guys have fun out there. That would be really interesting to see for this Florida State team. And the third thing, the passing game. I brought this up also a little bit, getting new guys involved. And I know the name Devin Carter has been brought up, a freshman receiver who's supposedly having really good spring ball early on. And I know we're 2 practices in, so don't get too dramatic when I'm saying that. But I think just new guys just showing face and being like, hey, like I can play, or hey, I want to make some plays out there. Like let's get after it here. But Florida State fans, I want to hear your thoughts. What are your kind of takes on this new offense? What are you expecting from this offense? I want to hear your thoughts. But like I said, my name's Zak Herbstreit. This is Off Script. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video. I'll see you guys soon.